Hey guys, Kuzo here, back with another video, and in this video today we're going to be designing a Steampunk Spiderman. This is another episode of my redesign series where I take a character and put him into a different series or a different setting, such as Steampunk. Seems like so far I've only done crossovers into other series or literally Steampunk. I haven't done any Cyberpunk yet, but that stuff will definitely come. As you can tell, I'm a really big steampunk fan. I like doing designs with steampunk related themes and stuff like that. Now, as for this illustration, I was torn between wanting to do one of those standing poses, a more dynamic pose, or a medium dynamic pose. And this was the medium dynamic pose that I chose. It's not like super dynamic, and it's just kind of standard kneeling pose type of thing going on here. I was thinking of, the typical Spider-Man jump where his legs are out and he's swinging on web, and I was thinking about doing one like that, but the way I was planning on doing it, it wouldn't have shown a big portion of his design. His whole torso would have been missing for the most part. I could have figured out a way to have his torso showing, but I decided I wanted to go with something that showed a majority of his design while still giving a good pose. So I went with this kneeling design, but I really wanted to do one that had more of an upper view to it, bird's eye view, because I like the shape of the head when it's bigger on top and narrower towards the chin, because it really emphasizes on like the bigness of Spider-Man's eyes, and you can play with a lot of like stylistic feel with that. But when going with this position, I just try to play with the angle and all that stuff in the pose as much as possible. In this design, I was trying really hard to find a good balance between steampunk design and Spider-Man, because I didn't want it to be like something where it was just a character that essentially wore a bunch of steampunk clothes but had a Spider-Man mask on type of thing. It wouldn't have felt as Spider-Man-ish, so I wanted to keep that spandex type or just tight type of suit on him and give some bulky parts that kind of gave off the steampunk vibe. So it gave off a little bit of best of both worlds, and I wanted to keep, like I said, a big portion of him with a lot of tighter parts to the suit, so it could also show the Spider-Man webbing on the suit. There's a part in this process where I actually erase a big portion of the design to change it because I didn't like how it was turning out. Drawing Spider-Man, I always wanted to do that crazy webbing like flying around, so I tried doing that where it's twirling around his arms and like going upwards, and kind of gives like a motion to the illustration. You'll see in a little bit that the background, the little building down below, I cut out the process for that because I didn't want it to take up too much time in the video. And I know most of you guys like to see me drawing the character more so than the background. So just for entertainment's sake, I cut out doing the little part of the building. And for the eye portions, I was playing with an idea of there being like a protruding piece of like metal or something that came out where the black portion is kind of being like goggles, but I kind of backed out of that idea and went with the standard black and decided to go with like a type of goggles that are connected to like the back of his mask and can be shifted down over his eyes if he needed to. This design was more so go with the flow kind of design. I didn't go with as much of a logical sense where I was thinking of the purpose of certain things, where if I were to thought of the purpose for the goggles a little bit more, which you can just come up with the purpose right now, being like it helps them be able to see further or something like that. I didn't do a whole lot of this with the design. I went just more so with the aesthetic of this design. For example, the whole design on the lower parts of his arms, I hadn't decided if I wanted that to be something that actually produces the web, or if it's mostly just design sense, or maybe it's an enhancer to his webs and stuff like that. I didn't decide on that. I kind of just went with the flow, like I said, and went with cool design sense, which doing some of that just free design flow is actually a good thing for first drafts, because you can then take a step back and look at it and be like, does the stuff here fit into the character design? If I put this on the character, would this work for him? Does it make sense? What's its purpose? Stuff like that. So it's always good to take a step back and look at what you've designed. But it's always good to make sure you let yourself flow freely and have a lot of creativity when designing something, and then taking the step back and being like, does this make sense? Should this actually be here? And it really gets your wheels turning and trying to, figure everything out. And here I am. I did the erasing I talked about earlier, where I decided on doing something a little less intrusive to the torso area. I had an idea for like the stuff that was going along his torso up there and his chest, but it wasn't turning out how I liked, and I could have tried to design it properly, but I went with something a little more simple, to be holding that thing that's on his back, so that way I could show more of the spider on his chest. And his name is Spider-Man. I needed to show more of it, so it was definitely a decision that I'm glad I made, instead of just settling with what I had, because it definitely shows more of the Spider-Man in this design. Also, I've seen many comments ask me, how do I not have my paper smudge when I draw? The truth is, it smudges like crazy when I draw a lot of the times, but you actually see me erase big portions of the smudging. And since it's really smooth paper, typically most of the smudging can get erased off pretty good, but a lot of the time the contrast from my blacks and the hardness of my lines makes the parts of like the technical whites of the paper that have smudges on it look more white than they really are. So yes, my paper does smudge a lot, especially when I need to erase and like do all this other stuff. Like you can kind of see on the left hand side right there, you can, oh well, it just went away, but you can see on the left hand side there's some erase marks, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of smudging that goes on in my illustrations. But I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, a lot of the time I play with the smudges to my advantage and make them into, like something where I can add steam or effect into the atmosphere, type of stuff like that. Also, rougher paper for me tends to smudge a lot easier, and it also has harder smudges to erase. It's harder to erase those smudges on more coarse, grainy paper. That's another reason why I like really smooth paper, because I don't know, I love smooth paper. It's buttery smooth on the pencil. But now for the big news, I've officially launched my first batch of Kuzo prints. Yay! But yeah, I've officially launched my first batch of prints, and right now you can get Trigun Bakugo, Magic Knight Todoroki, and Uraraka. This is just my first launch batch, and there will be other prints available pretty soon here, so definitely keep your eye out on that. But yeah, link in the description for those prints. But yeah, if you want to help support this channel, help support my artists, you can either buy some prints or help support me on my Patreon. Links for both of those will be in the description. But I'd like to take this time to thank my current Patreons: Ashley Elizabeth, Woodiolis, Heke Plage, Wear My Crown, Daniel Hillier, Yuli Namikaze, Poetical Gore, Noah Henderson, Maricuzio, JT, Satoshi, Kenny Morel, Alpha Dog Studios, JG, Aaron McQuiston, Sky Saul, Carlos Mara Lopez, Mark Locke, Brian B. Kim, Adrian Meneses, Parthana, Reggie, Daniel, Anthony Tran, E. The Real, Grim the Reefer, Jakari Richardson, and Spencer. You guys are the best pencil shinobis around. In any case, if you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up button, and if you're new to the channel, like what you see, please subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified when each video comes out, and like always guys, hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.